Welcome back. In this video, we are going to discuss types of higher education, different degrees one can earn, and types of higher education students. So the first distinction I'd like us to discuss is the difference between a public and a private college. So public colleges, public schools are funded by local and state governments, and because they are funded by the government, they usually offer lower tuition rates than private colleges do, especially for students who are residents of the state where a college is located. So here in California, we have actually three public college systems. We have our California community colleges, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. We have our University of California, or UC system, and then we have the California State University system, the CSUs. So anything that is a community college, a CSU, or a UC in California is a public school. Private colleges, on the other hand, rely mainly on tuition, fees, and private sources of funding. Private donations sometimes provide really generous financial aid packages for students, and we'll talk more about that when we get into our videos on financial aid. But the thing to know about private colleges is that they're not government funded, which means that one, the tuition doesn't change depending on where you're from, and that regardless of what state your college, your private school is in, your tuition will remain the same. Some examples of private colleges that are near to us in Northern California would be schools like Simpson University in Redding, schools like the University of San Francisco, or Lewis and Clark up in Portland would be other examples of private colleges. Most Ivy League colleges that we think of, Yale, Harvard, Stanford, schools like that, are also private colleges. The next distinction that you'll want to be aware of as you're researching and looking at different types of schools is whether your school is a 2 or a 4-year college. So 4-year colleges offer 4-year programs that lead to a bachelor's degree. And we'll talk more about degrees in a moment. So this is going to include universities and liberal arts colleges. So if you go to a university, and the word university is in the name of your school, that is going to be a 4-year college. A 2-year college, on the other hand, offers programs that last up to 2 years that lead to either a certificate or an associate's degree. These are usually community colleges. For us in Northern California, that would be College of the Siskiyous or Shasta College. But also vocational and technical colleges and career colleges can also be around 2-year degrees or 2-year certificates. That doesn't mean that you will necessarily finish those degrees in either 2 or 4 years. Many people who go to 4-year colleges take 5 or 6 years to graduate, and many people that go to 2-year colleges take longer than 2 years to get their degree. However, we call them 2 and 4-year schools because the degrees that you earn from them are designed to be accomplished in either 2 or 4 years. The next term I want to share with you is liberal arts colleges. So the word liberal arts school, college, university get thrown around interchangeably quite often, and they are similar. However, they do have certain distinctions and differences as well. So when we're referring to liberal arts colleges, we're talking about schools that offer a broad base of courses in the liberal arts. And when we say liberal arts, we're talking about subject areas like literature and history, languages, mathematics, life sciences. They don't provide technical or professional degrees. They just provide an education, an in-depth education in a certain subject area. Most liberal arts colleges are private, and they usually offer 4-year programs that lead to bachelor's degrees. These careers can prepare you for a wide variety of careers or for graduate study. They just don't provide you with technical education usually. So you wouldn't go to a liberal arts college to become a doctor or an electrician or a nurse or something that is going to directly prepare you for a career. So some examples include the Pomona colleges and the Claremont colleges in Southern California, something like Claremont McKenna or Harvey Mudd, Pitzer, Pomona, and Scripps, schools like that, as well as a lot of other private liberal arts colleges. I'd encourage you to Google your own and to pay attention as you're finding schools that are matched to you and notice if they are liberal arts colleges or not. So, next, universities. Universities are typically larger higher education institutions and they offer more majors and degree options. So, in addition to a 4 year bachelor's degree, you could also get a master's degree or a doctoral degree at a university. They typically maintain or contain several smaller colleges within them. Um, Things like specific to the liberal arts or engineering or health sciences or education, for example. And these colleges can prepare you for a variety of careers or for graduate study. So the California State University system is a university, the University of California. So that could be CSU Chico or Humboldt or Sonoma, or that could be UC Davis, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, etc. And then the third type of school that's part of, let's see, like the public education system, higher education system, is our community colleges. So community colleges, as I just mentioned, offer 2 year associate's degrees or certifications. And if you want, you have a couple different options here. You can get a 2 year associate's degree in a specific subject or a general associate's degree, graduate and be done. You can get a certification if it's more of like a career type program, like welding or becoming an EMT, something like that. Or you can do a transfer pathway, meaning you do 2 years of coursework at a community college that then prepares you to transfer on to get your bachelor's degree at a liberal arts college or a university. Um, so that is kind of how the community college system works. They're often an affordable option with relatively low tuition. And here in California, most community colleges offer 1 to 2 years of free tuition for students who graduate from a California high school, which is really exciting. So there's different types of certifications, different types of degrees. We're going to learn a little bit more about those on our own and doing our own research in the upcoming lessons. And then the other type of higher education institution that I want to share with you are vocational or technical or career schools. So you might hear all three of those words a little interchangeably here: vocational school, technical school, career school. So these institutions offer specialized training in a particular industry or career. So you don't really go to a career school or a technical school and expect that every type of career is going to be covered there. They usually specialize. So you could go to a vocational school to study culinary arts to become a chef. You could go to vocational school to become a firefighter, to become a dental hygienist, to get certified in medical records technology, things that are going to specifically prepare you for a particular career. These colleges usually offer certificates or associate's degrees. However, sometimes they also offer bachelor's degrees. So there's a lot of variety here that you're going to need to pay attention to as you are learning and exploring these types of schools, if this is of interest to you. So some examples would be OIT, Oregon Institute of Technology. This is a vocational technical career school. However, they offer many bachelor's degrees, many certificates, many 2 year degrees. So a place like OIT is going to offer you a lot of different options, just depending on what career track you're trying to prepare for. Another example would be the Shasta School of Cosmetology in Redding, California. This school is going to offer certifications in cosmetology, so you can become a hairdresser or an esthetician or something like that. And the amount of time it takes to do or to procure those certifications will depend on the program. One last note on the vocational and the career schools is that often these career prep certifications are offered at community colleges. So, for example, you could go to a vocational school to become a firefighter, but it's also likely that a lot of community colleges are also going to offer certifications and trainings in firefighting. So you're going to have to do a lot of your own research and a lot of your own assessing on whether or not it makes more sense for you to go to a vocational or a technical school, or if it makes more sense for you to go to a community college to get, or a university really, to get the education that you need depending on your career goals. And then the last thing, this is a wordy slide, so I'm going to go through it quickly. And then if you are interested in any of these things, you could dive into them deeper. But I want you to be aware that some colleges have special focuses. And what that means is that they focus on a specific interest or student population. So these can include anything from arts colleges. This is typically a lot of private liberal arts colleges. Some of them focus specifically on the arts, and you go to these schools because you are sure that you want to get an art degree. You will do regular coursework, but all of your training and all of your majors are going to be in the arts. There are single sex colleges. They're typically all women. They're usually 4-year public, but mostly private colleges that are specifically for men or for women. An example of that would be Mills College in the Bay Area. There are many religiously affiliated colleges. These are always going to be private, and they often are connected to a religious faith. So that might be something that you want to look into if you're diving deeper into private universities or private colleges. The connection may be historic only, or it may affect day-to-day student life. You typically do not need to be affiliated with the specific religion to attend that university. Not always, but usually. And they don't always ask that you are practicing that religion, but they typically have some part of their coursework or course requirements that are related to some type of religious studies. And then the last one is specialized mission colleges. So these are called HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities that focus on educating African American students. There's also HSIs, Hispanic Serving Institutions, colleges where at least 20% or 25%, excuse me, of full-term undergraduate students are of Hispanic background. They offer other programs, but many of their services and activities are targeted to these underrepresented students that they serve. So if you are interested in any of those, or maybe a different special focus, pay attention to that as well in your college search. So, as you'll see, and as you're noticing, there's a lot of different aspects to the types of schools that you choose. So, it's helpful if you can identify different things that you want. For example, I know I want to go to a community college and I know I want a certain type of degree. Or I know I want to go to a liberal arts school and I really want it to be an arts college. Those types of decisions are going to help you narrow down from the many thousands of higher education institutions that are available to you. Next, I want to talk about types of degrees and certificates. I'm going to go through this rather quickly, but these are terms that you should start to memorize. So if you look at this table below me here, or rather this pyramid, this kind of walks you through the level of degrees that are available to you that you earn progressively. So all of you in high school are going to graduate with either a high school diploma or a GED. And then if you decide to move on into higher education, you may, if you choose to start at a community college, earn either an associate's degree as an AA or an AS, an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science degree. This is if you specifically go to a community college to earn one of these 2 years degrees. You might skip your associate's degree if you go straight to a university and take 4 years to earn a bachelor's degree. This means you won't be getting an associate's degree. You're going to be spending those 4 years working towards your bachelor's, either a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. Those are those 4-year degrees. At that point, you might be done with your formal education, or you might decide you want to go on and become a graduate student. So, an undergraduate student is referring to the bachelor's degree level. A graduate student is somebody who's already earned their bachelor's degree and is studying for an advanced degree. And that could either be a Master of Arts, a Master of Science, a PhD, or a doctorate. You could also go on to receive professional degrees. So, an MD would be a doctor, or an MBA is a business degree. You can also earn certifications. This is typically back in that kind of 2-year AA level, and they typically come as either a certificate of achievement or a certificate of completion. So, those are the types of degrees that we are talking about as they kind of rise up the ladder here. And then the last thing that I want to orient you to is these three, let's go back, these three different types of college students. So, if you are going into college right out of high school, the summer after high school, you are going to be considered a first time freshman. If you have started at a community college and you are moving on up into a 4-year school, when you transfer from your community college to your university or your liberal arts college, you are going to be considered a transfer student. And then we also have continuing education students. This is somebody who takes courses not for a degree, but as enrichment in their own lives. We often find continuing education students at community colleges as well. So if you come across those three terms in your searching and in your research, you'll know that's what those mean. All right, that is it for today's lecture. I will see you next time where we will talk more about coursework and college majors.